The Shark Deck.
I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Vulture had a really good article from John Roy. He's a comedian and pop culture writer. The headline, Jim Gaffigan's most popular joke is a stand-up masterclass. John Roy writes, I first saw Jim Gaffigan perform in 2013 at the UCB in LA for 100 skinny 20-something hipsters. He was older than anyone else on the bill by 10 years, and he was wearing a bright canary yellow t-shirt one might charitably describe as a little too tight. I was worried the audience might reject a mainstream dad comic known for working clean, but Gaffigan was ready. The first words out of his mouth were an impression of a skeptical audience member reacting to his entrance. Look at that shirt, he whispered. He's trying to look young, he added, and then went for the jugular with, he's fat, and that got applause. Not only had he won the crowd over in less than a minute, he was already killing, and he hadn't even talked as himself. John Roy is impressed by Jim's famous bit, Hot Pockets. It's 4 minutes and 30 seconds on one topic. It's lean at under 600 words, and it's packed with act-outs and character changes. It gets so many laughs that 2/3 of the way in, Gaffigan is essentially performing over a rolling applause break. The bit is track 17 on the 2006 album Beyond the Pale. Gaffigan starts Hot Pockets by confessing that he ate one and feels awful. Like a metal band choosing not to play above a certain decibel level, Gaffigan, having opted out of using taboo words, has to find something else to replace their transgressive power in his material. His first solution is to get mean. He says that Hot Pockets warning label should read, Hope you're drunk or heading home to a trailer, you hillbilly. Enjoy the next NASCAR event. He diffuses that by doing his inner voice. I like NASCAR. He's a jerk. 2 seconds later, he's at it again, having lost no one. He gets 9 laughs in his first 40 seconds, then starts to run the crowd, a technique where instead of letting the audience's laugh fade so they're ready for your next joke, a comedian starts the next setup in the middle of their laughter, giving them no time to think. Gaffigan cuts 5 laughs short to get to what will become the bit's mantra, singing the Hot Pocket jingle in a high-pitched, breathy, off-key warble. Then he pulls his foot off the gas and lets the audience get it all out. They reward him with 9 seconds of applause at the 1-minute mark. Writing and performance aside, Hot Pockets succeeds because of the central observation that grounds it. Corporations surely know when their product is trash. Some products are clearly so trash that the most believable explanation is that it's intentional. What if the company just came out and said it? Based on the enthusiasm which we as a society consume Hot Pockets, Gaffigan seems to suggest that it wouldn't make any difference at all. Great stuff there. Conan O'Brien was on Kara Swisher's podcast. I got to add that to my playlist. I told you I downloaded it, but I didn't actually listen to it. They were talking about Tom Shells. Remember that guy? He was a famous TV critic, and Kara was like, hey, Conan, you may recall he wrote a devastating review of your show in 93, but in 96, he said you were the only good thing on late night. Conan said, yeah, that was quite a turnaround. I was eternally grateful for that, and that was very nice. That was something I did not see coming, and that was a different era, too, in TV, where you think about it, Tom Shells had so much power. The media's changed so much that I'm hard-pressed to think of a TV critic who could potentially end a TV show, but Tom Shells certainly had that power. Conan talked about retirement. What I retired from was the volume business of late night television, because I loved it. I really did love it, and I did it for 28 years, and I did thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, and I'm told 4 of them were quite good. And I love that very much. But what I started to see is that there were things that I became kind of more in love with, and the podcast is one of them, fortunately. That was just a happy accident. But another was doing the travel shows, going to Cuba, going to different countries, and shooting remotes with people I found, and doing found comedy around the world. It was electrifying, and I realized I'd rather be doing this. And late night had changed because there were so many late night shows, and I started to feel, okay, I've done this. We only get so much time. I'm no spring chicken. I like to really focus on these other things. The Tennessee has answered the question why comedian Nate Bargatze stole a chair from the Bridgestone Arena. Nate was at the 2023 Sneds and Friends Pro-Am Golf Tournament. Everybody was a little nervous, so they had Nate tell a story. Back in April, Nate set the Bridgestone Arena all-time attendance record at 19,365, beating out the previous record holder Morgan Wallen, who held the record at 19,292. Wallen only had the record for a month. Nate was determined to hold the record much longer than Wallen did, and perhaps forever, so he swiped a chair from the arena on his way out, thus lowering the capacity. Nate said, I'm just trying to secure my spot in history. You don't get a lot of chances like that as a comic because the music acts are so big. So I was like, maybe I'll just take a chair. And I did. As long as they don't throw another chair in there, I should be good. Nate talked about his sports prowess and said, I got cut from basketball back in high school. I think I got cut from golf, to be honest. I played track my senior year. I don't think you played track. I played track my senior year, and that was the only thing I made. He bounced back by thriving when he played church league basketball. Nate said, I was a bit of a problem for the competition when I played on that court. Actually, it was a carpet that we played on. His uncle Ronnie was a 3-sport star. and went on to coach basketball at Vanderbilt and a bunch of other places. Nate said, growing up here was all Ronnie. I get it from old guys all the time. Are you Ronnie's boy? We're here because of Ronnie. Ronnie was a huge part of my dad's life when my dad came to Nashville. We're big Vandy fans, and the reason is because Ronnie was very involved at Vandy. Then my mom worked at the ticket office there, so we just got roped into it. Lunel will make her Netflix comedy special debut on September 26th. Town Business. Proper title, Chappelle's Home Team - Lunel Town Business. Netflix, September 26th. Shot during her set in her hometown of Oakland, Town Business sees Lunel expose all of the absurdities of air travel, the importance of keeping the window shade up, and why she appointed herself the unofficial air marshal of the skies. Dave Chappelle executive produced the special as part of his Chappelle's Home Team series. The first one of those was Earthquakes back in February of 2022. Leo Weekly caught up with Chris Tucker. Tucker back doing stand-up and said, I started out doing stand-up comedy, you know? That's a big source. I think it's the source of everything. It's like an actor going on Broadway or coming up through Broadway or off Broadway. I came up through the comedy clubs and that sparked me. It's the gate that opened the avenue, the doors for acting. So it's everything to me. It's stand-up. You have freedom to talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. Your personal life, all these things. When you act, you have to play a role, not stand-up. It's really about my life, and real-life events. It's a great, great art form. All right, Chris Tucker, who are your favorite comedians? Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Kevin Hart. All those guys and many others, like Earthquake. Who were some of your influences growing up? Definitely Eddie Murphy and Bill Cosby. Richard Pryor, definitely growing up. And Red Fox, too. All right. Who are the comedic goats? His answer. I would say Richard Pryor. He inspired even Eddie Murphy, so I would say Richard is the goat. All right. Who would join Richard on the Mount Rushmore of comedy? Definitely Eddie Murphy. All right. We need two more. All right. Dick Gregory and Red Fox. Back on Friday, I was reading you the very, 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 very long biography of Derek Smalls, the bassist from Spinal Tap. Derek has a new single called Must Crush Barbie. And as part of the press release, this absurdly long bio. And I'm still not going to read the whole thing, but I did want to get back to it. Jumping in the middle, Spinal Tap carved a reputation as one of England's loudest bands. Its series of mishaps, breakups, and reunions, drummers perishing, was chronicled in a 1984 film. Derek calls it a hatchet job. There were plenty of nights where we found our way to the stage, but of course they didn't show you that. In the late 80s, as Spinal Tap's fortunes waned, Derek joined a Christian heavy metal band, Lamb's Blood. Their best-known song, Whole Lotta Lord, made a respectable showing on the Christian charts. To cement his relationship with the band members, all of whom were Americans, Smalls got a Christian fish tattoo. Tap reunited in 1992. Concerned he'd have to cover up the tattoo, Derek hired an artist to fix it, and the piece now is a devil eating the fish. Following that tour, Spinal Tap broke up and reunited twice more, once in 2000 at a historic New York venue that Derek described on stage as Carnegie effing Hall, and in 2009 at appearances at Glastonbury and Wembley. Derek appeared in TV commercials for the Belgian snack food Floop and served for a time as a judge on the Dutch reality competition show Rock Stars, ROKSTRZ, before the show was rebooted as Tomorrow's Hip Hop Hero. Derek stepped forward as a composer during this time. His jingle for Floop, which is I'm in the Floop Group, was a regular earworm on European TV until the publisher of the In Crowd threatened a plagiarism lawsuit. In 2019, Smalls parlayed his celebrity in the low counties of Europe as a position as brand ambassador for Brugelcoin, a Dutch-based crypto coin. Boy, that's a lot. All right, should we hit the first vegan comedy festival? A 2-day orgy of comedy and music plus extensive vegan food and drink. Everyone is welcome, vegan or not. 2 days, September 30th and October 1st. Award-winning character comedian and UK pun champion Lee Brace says, people have referred to vegan comedy as an oxymoron, you know, a bit like humane slaughter, but vegan comedy exists, and it's plant-wettingly funny. 15 musicians, 20 comedians. There'll be a bar, tea, coffee, cake, mocktails, cocktails, juice bars, and some truly inspiring independent vegan traders exhibiting at the show. Everyone is welcome. Vegan, flexitarian, or vegan curious. It's the Vegan Comedy Festival. That's your company news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Thanks to DraftKings for supporting today's show. See you tomorrow.